iPhone, rocking the iPhone.
Do you need to read it? I have it in the book.
Natalie parks her 67 Ford Mustang on the side street near the alley, and then she checks the rearview mirror to be sure that she isn't being followed. It's fucking broad daylight. God. She shakes her head a few times and slides over to the passenger side as she cups her fingers around the long metal handle. She can't get Nate's voice out of her head. Please don't go snooping around Ryan's. It's dangerous. What does he think? I'm some naive college girl? She pulls at the handle. I can take care of myself. She pushes it at the door with the bottom of her boot, and the door flings open with a crick and her foot hits the ground thud. As she shoves out into the open air, she begins to feel exposed, nervous, unsure. She questions herself as she turns the key and locks the car. She looks over her shoulder. She knows that Ryan's been hiding something, and she wants to find out what that is. Rounding the corner, she increases her stride, passing the backs of old, modest, hand-chipped homes without windows, the road a mix of reddish dirt, rocks, and broken blacktop. Her eyes case the alley in every direction as she passes an aluminum trash bin, fallen on its side, its contents spilled like vomit. A torn white plastic bag exposes its inside, soils the road with paper plates, shredded lettuce, the tops of carrots, open ketchup packages. A sour fish smell lingers as she jumps over a pile of crumpled foil and smeared hot dogs that look like little bits of fleshy roadkill. She sees Ryan's back door up ahead. Her stomach flutters and she hesitates for a moment as she moves over to his side of the street, out of the middle, near the garages. The sound of a crow squawking above is her only comfort as she fixates on his house and she imagines what really happened to Ryan. An image of Ryan's body on his bedroom floor, lying in a puddle of his own blood with a knife nearby, just flashes through her mind. It wasn't suicide. Disgust fills her as she tries to grasp what kind of person could stand inches from another human, hold a sharp metal blade to his neck, feel his pulse beating, hear his breath flowing, and then keep pressing into his skin and flesh while blood gushes out. What kind of person is so cold that they don't feel fear or shame when they press into the deep layer of fat and slice the artery that stops the heart? That's fucking crazy. A cold chill brushes over her arms as she checks behind her. Her senses are on edge, alive, keen. The sound of gravel under her step, crunching each time her foot hits the ground, sounds like the inside of her head when she chews on ice cubes. She hears a rustle behind and she jumps into a space between a garage and metal fence separating the houses, and her breathing just stops. She swallows and she stares at the rust overtaking the round steel spokes of the gate. Her eyes scour for anything sharp, nothing but a blade of grass. How stupid am I? Why didn't I fucking bring my jackknife? She can feel her heart knocking on her chest, and she quickly lies down on her stomach, flat on the ground, and the cool, dry earth on her face. It smells like worms after a rainy day. She lets out a slow, steady stream of air as she inches her body up to the edge. A loud crash rings in her ears as she closes her eyes and just hopes it goes away. Do I run? Do I stay? What the fuck do I do? Her fingernails dig into the ground as she pulls herself 1 inch closer to the edge, and then she peeks around the corner. It's a raccoon near the hot dog mess. Are you fucking kidding me? A raccoon? Air rushes out of her mouth as she rests her chin on the ground and she regains composure. Back on her feet, she moves into the road and she stops and she stares at that pesky creature. The raccoon turns towards her and freezes. Its big, dark, circled eyes stare right back at her, daring her to come closer. An animal, she says. She turns and walks towards Ryan's back door. That's who would do it. That's who would do it. An animal. The raccoon continues to pull at the pieces of food without regard for her presence while Natalie looks through the small glass window into Ryan's hallway. She feels a surge of adrenaline rushing through her, immobilizing her. Her hand almost turning the knob, but then she hesitates and tries to calm her nerves instead. I'm just being paranoid, she tells herself. In, out, She breathes as she watches the filthy, stupid animal rummaging through the trash. Its long claws have the agility of human hands, sifting through the broken plastic as if it's tossing and sorting trash from treasure. Huh. Smart little fella. She walks over to Ryan's trash can and she pulls off the lid. An old newspaper covered in plastic rests on the top. She takes off the plastic and she puts it over her hand and she tosses that paper. And then she pulls off the band holding her ponytail and uses it to secure the bag around her wrist. She moves the can between the garages out of the view of the alley, and then she pulls out the tall, clear bag. Cans of tuna, healthy choice boxes, coffee grounds smeared all over the sides. She sets it on the ground and then looks back in the trash. She pulls out an oversized flannel shirt. Pieces of moldy lemons drop to the ground. She holds it at eye level and she studies the black and red squares. He wouldn't wear this. He's way too preppy. Was way too preppy. She corrects herself and sets it on the ground. She feels like one of those alcoholic Indians that wander the alleys with glazed eyes, a red face, a brown bagged bottle, still searching for their taken land and settling on the white man's leftovers at 3 a.m. Sad. Oddly enough, she also feels like an investigator, and it electrifies her.